What is going on? This is SAMOK Fit, checking in with you guys. You guys are doing well, doing terrific. In today's video, I am bringing you guys another shoulder workout. I know I love shoulders. I love talking about shoulders, especially been following for a while. But if you're new to the channel, we are going to be talking about shoulders. Workout essentially is going to be covering shoulder, how to build a strong shoulder, how to build a nice juicy delt, and why do you need shoulder? Of course, aesthetically, it makes you look good, and of course, having a strong, well-defined shoulder helps you to prevent a lot of injuries, especially a lot of your pressing movement. Also, it's a deload week for me and Max. Deload week is also an opportunity for you to, kind of just go over your training program, mess around a little bit, take some movements out, keep some movement in, and kind of just decide what's your game plan for your next mesocycle. So if you're not doing a deload, that's one of the biggest mistakes you actually are making, because there's a saying, you mess with the bull, you get the horn. That's what typically happens because you run yourself into the ground and you just expose yourself to a lot of injuries. A lot of injuries occur not because of freak accidents, some freak accidents from time to time, but most injury typically occurs because of poor load management and improper technique over time. So make sure you capitalize on your deload. But we're talking about shoulder today. But before we get into the shoulder or any training program, let's talk about warm-up. As far as warm-up goes, I've talked about this many times. Shoulder is one of the most injured joints of the body. The man behind the camera can attest to that because we're just talking about it. He's just getting better from having a little bit of shoulder impingement from a while back. And the reason why also is because shoulder is one of those joints that has a lot of range of motion. And because it has a lot of range of motion, it exposes your shoulder joints for you to hurt them a lot more. Before we get into designing the perfect shoulder workout, let's talk about mobility. So oftentimes when I see people like warming up before shoulders, you do this, you do one of these right here. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but the challenge oftentimes with this is gravity is taking away the issues for you. So what you want to use is something totally different that I'm about to show you right now. So what you want to use instead of dumbbell is bands. Why do you want to use band? Because your gravity is not involved. I grab a band, start light, and from here, you just want to rotate. And I like to do this about 3 sets, 10 to 12. And not only do you want to rotate, you can add a second movement into that too. When I'm done with 3 sets of that, the second movement that I do is some scapular retraction, external rotation, scapular retraction, external rotation, scapular retraction, external rotation. And again, I like to do this about 3 sets, 10 to 12. And the last thing I want to do, obviously you took care of external rotation. We're going to talk about internal rotation. Ideally speaking, you want to have maybe like a hand here or maybe like a towel if you have access to that. I put my hand right here, have the band resistant, pull in the other direction, and I'm just going to bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. Those 3 movements you want to keep in before any of your press movements or your shoulder workout. So now let's talk about the actual programming of your shoulder workout. I think one of the biggest challenges when people are designing training programs is because they don't have the knowledge on the anatomy of the body part they are doing. So let's talk about the anatomy of the shoulder real quick. You got your front delts, your lateral delts, and your rear delts. It's simple as that. And you want to curate movements that's going to target each part of the delts to make sure you targeting or you hitting those body parts individually. For me, for instance, rear delt is not as strong as Max's. Mine is a little bit weaker, so a lot of my movements going to have a lot of rear delt development or development movement in it, and also a lot of lateral head movement also. So understanding the anatomy of the shoulder is very important, and this allows you to actually curate those movements. And I know there's a lot of debate out there, which one is the best movement for the shoulder? There's a lot of movement and variety, but as long as you understand the anatomy of the shoulder, it's very easy for you to say, okay, this movement is best for the shoulder. If I want to build a medial delt, obviously overhead presses are great for those, shoulder presses, lateral raises, upright row. If I want to build a front delt, I'm going to do some front raises, and if I want to do a rear delt, a lot of obviously cable face pulls, reverse flies, and it's those things. Now that we covered the anatomy and the movements that you like to do, let's cover how much volume do you need. So this is going to be a range. There's no specific or arbitrary number. I can say 12 sets, 16 sets, 13 sets, but it comes down to how many sets can you actually do and allow you to actually recover in time for you to train your delts. So let's say within the week, you want to start with a baseline, just like anything else, right? You want to start at the minimum, and that allows you to actually keep progressing from there. And for instance, let's say you want to start with 12 sets per workout, right? 12 sets per body part. So meaning, okay, within those 12 sets, I want to make sure I cover your delts, my front delts, and my posterior delts. And that 12 sets could be 4 sets for each body part. So 4 sets could be, the first 4 set could be vertical press, a Viking press, dumbbell press, Smith machine press. Another 4 set could be shifted towards more of a lateral raises. Another 4 sets will be towards more of a face pull. So that's 12 sets, that's a baseline. You can run that in your first mesocycle. A mesocycle can range between 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. It's not really a sweet, number of what the ideal mesocycle should be. So 12 sets is a typical baseline for most people that can recover from, and that gives you the bare minimum where you can actually start basing and start increasing the load on the next mesocycle. Something that's very key, that's very important for you, for anyone, not just, pertaining to shoulder workout, just any movement that you're doing, is going to be technique. Like I said, most injuries occur because of poor performance and improper technique. Your technique needs to be very important, and again, shoulders are very, the dexterity of the shoulder is a wide range, and the more poor technique that you are using, the more you're exposing yourself to injuries. And that means you're not chasing, you're not ego chasing. That means you're not, just shrugging when you need to. I'd rather you chase stimulus overload. All the clients that I work with, we always look for ways to improve the technique before we say, okay, you know what? I think we've maximized what we can do with, let's say, 4 sets, and the next cycle, we can then add additional volume to that particular shoulder workout. Another massive component to you designing your training program is it comes down to tracking. I know a lot of you guys don't want to hear it. If you're a beginner, you might not care about it, but again, the more advanced you get, the more particular, the more precise you need to be to make sure you're doing the right thing. Your time is very valuable. If you're spending that time in the gym, you want to make sure you're actually checking the box that you need to get, that you need to check to see that result in the gym. So tracking your workout is very, very important. Luckily for me, I have the RP training app that I use to log all my training program and to design my training program too. So in case you need some, some training program, you want to take the guessing out of the equation and you just want to focus on execution, the RP training app is very, very good. Can design a training program for you, and you just have to just make sure you log your training. And the best part about the training program also, or the training app, is actually prescribe what your next, sets, load should be. So if this is very confusing for you and you don't want to take that chance, you don't want to take that on your own, you just want like an app to design your program for you and you just focus on the execution and show it up to the gym, an RP training app is excellent for that. Of course, there's a link in the description. You can use my code in the description also to hop on that and save some money. So log your training program. The more you log it, the more you know what you're doing, the more you know how much volume you're doing, the more you can adjust it. If you can log it, if you can track it, you can adjust it. You're just not sticking a dart on a board and hoping something works out. If something is not working out, okay, you're looking logbook, okay, this is how much volume I'm doing, not enough volume, okay, where can I improve, what can I add onto that? So logging your training program is key. Data is your friend, not your enemy. And that is the conclusion of the training video. Hopefully you find that video very helpful. And again, it's quick, straight to the point. I want to give you some value, and I guarantee if you can take these steps and apply that into your training program, you too can see results. And again, this logic and strategies like this, you don't have to use it for shoulder workout alone. You can use it for any movement, any workout that you're doing. And once you apply that logic, I guarantee you are on your way to seeing a lot of gains in the gym. If you find this video very useful, make sure you like the video, recommend the video, or share with one of your friends. And let me know if there's any other body part you want me to cover in the comment below, and I'll put that video together for you guys. This is SAMOK checking out, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay swole.